my camera. There we go. All right. Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for making the Black Gold Solutions live stream. My name is Tamani Mwandani. I am the author of the new book, Black Gold Devalued, Counting America's Covert Hostility Toward the Black Community. I forgot the name of my book for a second. And I am a contributing member to the Black Gold Movement, and this is the Black Gold Solutions live stream. We titled it Black Gold Solutions because we like to focus on solutions as it relates to what is destroying the black community, as opposed to simply talking about the problem. There are several people out there who are talking and doing just that. The people out there who are talking to spread the word about certain things, and there are people who are talking, giving the same regurgitated quote unquote solutions or answers to many of the things that are ailing the black community. And we don't want to be one of those persons, one of those platforms. We want to focus on concrete, realistic, very possible, sustainable long-term solutions as it relates to saving the black community. And this is not to say, or that statement is not to say that talking about problems is bad, or that the people that do so are bad people, because they're not. They're trying to highlight. Most of them are trying to highlight and educate the community, which is good. But I'm saying that we need to get beyond simply talking about the things that are destroying the community and get about the actual actions of fixing those things and or directly destroying and or doing away with them. So with the Black Gold Solutions live stream, we want to focus on solutions to many of the problems that are destroying the community. Excuse me. And our main goal, our ultimate goal in everything that we do, is to rebuild Black Wall Street, which was a self-sufficient, self-contained community built by black people that was subsequently destroyed by white people. And when we say Black Wall Street, we're talking about both specifically the community in Tulsa, Oklahoma from 1911 to 1920 that had over 600 businesses. They had their own school system, their own banking system. They had their own airport. They had a hospital. They were a self-sufficient, self-contained community that, like several others, were eventually destroyed by white people, because as it normally goes, a white person accuses a black person of doing something, and lynch mob forms. They go to the community, try to get that person. The community seeks to defend that person, and that community gets burned down. And actually, with the case of Black Wall Street in Tulsa, there were several brothers who were a member of the community that had just come back from World War I that were fighting back, shooting back, and actually winning. But it wasn't until the local law enforcement started to drop fire bombs from planes that they lose that war. And in one sense, we're talking about Black Wall Street as it relates to Tulsa, but when we say Black Wall Street, we're also talking about the several, I'll say by my count, 70 plus black communities throughout our history in this country that were also self-sustaining, self-built, that were also destroyed by white people, by a white mob. So when we say Black Wall Street, we're not just talking about Tulsa. We're not just talking about the communities in Texas, or the communities in New York, or the communities in Florida, or the communities in Virginia. Historically, we're talking about building something where we can own and control the environment from cradle to grave. When we say Black Wall Street, we're talking about having a community that has everything it needs within that community to thrive and grow, so that we can do everything that's in our power, within our power, to protect the physical life of black bodies, to protect the mental life, psychology of black people, to protect our women, and to give our elders a way to give back, to protect every member of that community, but not just something that's small, 1 or 2 apartment complexes that we own and control. No, we're talking about rebuilding cities, rebuilding towns that are, again, owned and controlled by the community, all of whom are on the same page of not just doing that one time in one city in the country, but doing that in every major city in this country where black people live, and have all of them be connected economically, educationally, spiritually, so that we're all on the same page of building a nation within a nation and moving forward. So before I go further, let me again say that my name is Tamani. I'm the author of the new book, Black Gold Devalued. I'm a contributing member to the Black Gold movement. This is the Black Gold Solutions live stream. We thank you for making it. And if we haven't already received your email address, please send that to us. You can email us at theblackgoldnation@gmail.com. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, and our Periscope channel, please do so that whenever we are online and we're having a live stream or broadcast, or even a live interview with a candidate for the upcoming leadership election, which we'll get into later, you can always be in the loop as far as what we're talking about doing. So a quick sidebar, the reason why I'm looking left and right is because I have three screens going. I have YouTube on my left, Facebook in front of me, and Periscope on my right. So when you see me looking back and forth, I'm simply looking at the different platforms as I do the live stream. So this particular broadcast, we're talking about utilizing our elders, the Black Gold Leadership Council. What we're saying, what we've been saying with all of the live streams and everything that we've done so far, we are saying that most of the issues, if not every single one of the issues that are affecting the community, can be done away with, can be addressed, can be destroyed, can be annihilated if we simply had the power to control that environment. I have said before, and you will hear me say you will hear me continue to say, that I was a member of a church here in Houston, Texas, called the Shrines of the Black Madonna of the Pan-African Orthodox Christian Church. That was a different kind of church in that we not only believed in the true Jesus, the revolutionary Black Messiah, the African Jesus, but we believe that he came for a specific purpose, for a specific people to do a specific thing. And we didn't make that up. All of that is in the Bible, but of course people read it and get different things because it's been how they're taught to believe about Jesus and the Bible, and of course the physical images that are everywhere about Jesus, which is the white Caucasian guy, which is not Jesus at all. Jesus was an African man of color. But because of our understanding and our perspective on Jesus's message and mission, we also took it upon ourselves to create a nation within a nation in this country so that black people can have a physical safe space by which we could live and be. And what we're saying in the Black Gold movement is that we need to do the exact same thing. So as a member of that church for over 20 years, I know the power of living in an environment that's 100% owned and controlled by people that look like I do, people that are on the same page as I am, people that have my best interests at heart, and I had their best interests at heart. We were a community, and not just in Houston, but there is a shrine in Detroit, there's a shrine in Atlanta, there's a shrine in South Carolina, there are two churches in Africa. So they had several churches actually in Michigan, and some of them eventually closed or they merged them to one central shrine. But the point is that you have a community of believers that aren't just located in one space, one city. They're located in several cities around the country, and they're connected with their ideology and what they're trying to accomplish. So what we're saying is that we not only need to redo that, but we need to step it up to the next level by making sure that those kinds of physical safe havens not only exist in every major city in this country, but also that they're connected so that we're all teaching our kids the same thing, so that we're all recreating economic power in and around that safe space so that we can turn over the black dollar as many times, that we're all connected spiritually because we're all trying to work on the same spiritual plane to reach the same goal, which is building a nation within a nation in this country as it relates to the survival and advancement of people of color in this country, black people in this country. So that is going to be impossible to accomplish if you do not have leadership that's on the same page. And once you get that leadership, there needs to be a guiding power of believers who can keep that leadership intact on the same page moving forward. A very, 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 very good example of why that is so critically important is what we are seeing right now going on with Dr. Umar Johnson, Brother Tariq Nasheed, and Dr. Boyce Watkins. Dr. Watkins is kind of on the outside because Tariq and Dr. Umar kind of going at it back and forth. But Dr. Boyce Watkins has also been pulled into it by Dr. Umar. And basically what we are seeing is a group of brothers, all of whom are obviously intelligent, obviously talented, obviously know what they're doing in their particular area of expertise, but all of whom need a leadership structure that can keep them online, to keep them moving forward and not get bogged down in petty issues. You have Dr. Umar and Brother Tariq going back and forth, and what's so sad and unfortunate about it is that they're doing it on social media for hundreds of thousands of millions of people to see. We have not yet learned that we should not air our dirty laundry for the world to see, because it makes all of us look bad, and we don't need any issues, anything extra to make us look bad. And I understand that when someone says something about you, you want to counter and reply and state your side. I get all of that, but there's a place to do that. There is a means to do that. There's a process by which that should be done, and none of these brothers are doing that. They're talking about what they are feeling, and all of them are, well, all of them, well, Tariq and Dr. Umar Johnson are most certainly emotional about it. Dr. Boyce Watkins is a bit more reserved, but we need to get away from individual type leadership. The purpose of this particular stream is to talk about the usage of our elders to create a leadership council that will make sure every major decision as it relates to the advancement and building of these connected black Wall Streets, this nation within a nation, is always moving forward. So our elders have already lived and are still living a life of productive activity in and around the community. They've already proven themselves to be lovers of black people, to be leaders in the community, to be examples of how we should all strive to be. And we should not adopt the habits of America, which is to put our elderly in a home or put them somewhere else where they can no longer be seen or can no longer contribute. We should keep our elders in-house, because one of the things that we need to do is, as I said earlier, we need to protect black bodies, minds, and spirits from cradle to grave. But more importantly, we need to make sure that that black excellence that we create via our children and our elders have, we need to keep that in-house so that it's not given back to a system that has proven itself to be anti-us. So by having a leadership body that's already been in the struggle, already proven itself, already shown love for black people, we create a national leadership council so that when we have issues like Dr. Umar Johnson and Brother Tariq Nasheed and maybe even Dr. Boyce Watkins, who is included kind of on the periphery, but he's still in it, we can have a leadership council that will say, this is how we're going to deal with this issue. We're not going to air our dirty laundry. We're not going to talk about another brother or sister on social media. We're not going to make ourselves look bad and disrespect one another. We're not going to give our children an example of how niggas operate and how niggas deal with their issues, how niggas, conduct themselves. We're not going to give our children an example of that kind of behavior. We are going to deal with everything that's happening with the community in-house, and we'll deal with it in an organized, methodical, specific, programmatic fashion by which both issues on both sides can be addressed. They can be debated or discussed, and there can be a resolution. But all of that will be done behind closed doors. All of that will be done off social media. we don't see other leaders of other cultures, of other nationalities, of other countries speaking to one another like these brothers, Dr. Umar Johnson and Brother Tariq Nasheed, that these brothers have been speaking to one another. We don't see that. Of course, we have examples of Trump and Kim Jong-un of Korea going back and forth, but we don't want to use those two as an example. As a matter of fact, if these two fools are doing it, then that should let us know that it is most certainly not a good thing, and we don't want to be like them. But it's very rare that you see leadership of other communities behaving like our quote-unquote leadership behaves. And even if Dr. Boyce Watkins, which I doubt, even if he doesn't see himself as leadership, he is. Even if Brother Tariq Nasheed does not see himself as leadership, he is. And we all know that Dr. Umar Johnson definitely sees himself as leadership, but he's not behaving as leadership that we should seek to emulate and imitate. I know when in the shrine, whenever Halloween came around, and actually we call it, I think it's All Saints Eve, where the children would dress up as black leaders as opposed to a goblin or goon or whatever. A lot of those children dressed up as members of the community, bishops or cardinals or a Maccabee, which is was our security force, or is our security force. These children, because of what they saw and who was raising them, teaching them, feeding them, protecting them, they would dress up as their hero in the community, which was extremely powerful because they saw an example of how they wanted to be from someone that was in the community. So you have these brothers airing their dirty laundry in an absolutely awful and embarrassing way for millions to see, and I guarantee you millions will see it. And of course, you have other black people who want to take advantage of that or cash in on that or create a following from that. They are merely shining a spotlight on it, so it's becoming more and more of an issue, and more people are chiming in and looking at it. And I'm saying that if we're going to be a nation, if we're going to be a connected group of people that are trying to move forward in the same direction, we must bring our elders back into the picture and use them, use their intellect, use their spirituality, use their understanding to help lead and guide us forward. No major decision as it relates to the growth and advancement of the collective black nation should be made without review, address, approval from the Leadership Council. By having a Leadership Council of proven black people, we will always know that the idea is a good one, whatever it is. The idea is blessed by the elders, whatever it is. And the ideas are supported by the elders, whomever they are. And as we are talking about building this nation within a nation for black people in America nationwide, we'll have leadership councils on multiple levels. We'll have a local leadership council that would deal with a particular city's local issues. We will have a regional leadership council that would deal with regional issues. And of course, we'll have a national leadership council that would deal with national issues. And if an elder is on a local leadership council, then he or she will also be a part of the national leadership council because they're still an elder in the community. And I say those levels because a local issue may not necessarily need to involve a member of the leadership council in another city. But if we have a major issue that's going on that it will affect black people nationwide, then of course the leadership council needs to be a part of that. And this example, this situation between Dr. Umar Johnson and Brother Tariq Nasheed and Dr. Boyce Watkins, this is a perfect example why we need to have a collective body of respected black people that can say to our leaders that whatever is going on needs to be dealt with in another way. And even with the situation previously with Dr. Umar Johnson and General Sutin-Seti, I think that's how you say the brother's name, it started out, at least from my understanding, it started out where Dr. Umar Johnson was saying that we need to have, there's an issue in the conscious black community and the elders need to step in and help resolve it. That's what I got from what Dr. Umar Johnson was trying to say. But General Seti, for whatever reason, took it another way and went off. And of course, Dr. Umar Johnson, because his ego is so high, he has to respond. He doesn't just respond in a way that will make an elder proud, a way that would make someone's mother proud, a way that would make the youth say, I want to be like that. No, he responds in a straight nigga fashion. And of course, General Seti responds, they go back and forth. And from my perspective, it hurts the national black community. It hurts the regional black community. It hurts the local black community. And it hurts individual black people who are trying to do something positive in the community, which is already difficult enough. But they're trying to learn more, trying to plug in, trying to educate themselves, trying to be better people. And the persons who have placed themselves out there to be leadership are acting like two niggas on the street. And it hurts all of us because we're all the same and connected. So getting back to the importance of making sure our elders are always involved as much as possible in what we're doing is extremely important. And not just because we need leadership and guidance with dealing with our own issues internally, not for the world to see, but also so that they can give back in multiple areas as it relates to moving the national community forward. April 14th of this year, we're having the first black leadership election to take place online. We will have 200,000 black people to vote in this election. And the purpose of the election is to identify, vet, nominate, and vote for black leadership in multiple areas needed to have this nation within a nation so that they can educate, train, lead, guide black people moving forward. And to have that kind of leadership body that's on the same page moving forward, we must also have a group of seasoned warriors on multiple levels who can help ensure that not only that particular department is moving forward in the right area, but that particular department is doing what it's supposed to be doing as it relates to the people in that particular area. Our elders nationwide have been plugged into the community for decades. Everyone in their local city knows who the elders are. And I'm saying all of those elders need to be utilized so that their experience, their love, their compassion, their understanding can help the nation move forward. And thinking about the importance of having a Black Wall Street, thinking about the importance of having a self-sustained community that we can own and control, gives us the opportunity, or will give us the opportunity, to make sure that when a black child is born in the black nation, he or she can be taken care of, can be loved, can be raised, can be educated, can be trained in the black nation from cradle, from the time they're born to the time they're middle school, high school, college, and professional, hopefully also in the nation. And they can also become an elder. So what we're trying to do is create a system, a new system for black people to exist within, because this American system has, of course, proven itself to be anti-black, and we can create the kind of black excellence that we want. That excellence can be identified, it can be trained, it can be plugged into systems that we already have up and running, and those children can then become elders in the community, and the community is what they've always known. Now, don't get me wrong, that does not mean if a member of the nation or the community wants to go to Chick-fil-A, they can't go. Of course they can go. If they want to go to, on vacation to Disney World, of course they can go. But the idea of a Black Wall Street is that black people need to have physical, safe spaces in this country where we can simply be and not be bothered by outside entities. I have said, and I will always say, that niggas come in all colors. There are threats within the community, and there are threats without the community. There are black people in the community that are part of the problem, that are destroying the community, and there are non-black people and black people but primarily non-black people outside of the community that are also doing things to destroy the black community. So when you have a self-sufficient, self-contained community that we own and control, it allows us to either deal with those threats from within, or make sure they never come within, and also allows us to create a multiple walls to protect those that are members of the community, so that the threats that are without never come inside. So you are not going to have that if you don't have a committed group of seasoned black people, seasoned, committed community leaders that can keep black people in line, keep black people moving forward. And when you're talking about a nation, when you're talking about a self-sufficient community that's connected nationwide, there are going to be problems. There are going to be problems from people not getting along. There are going to be problems with maybe a political issue. There are going to be problems with a construction issue. There are going to be problems, period, because you're talking about building a nation within a nation. Well, those problems, depending on what they are, need to be dealt with by persons who have the best interests of the community and the nation at heart. And utilizing our elders allows us to tap into decades of love, leadership, guidance, understanding, spirituality that we're currently not utilizing on a national level. So when we have this election this coming April 14th, and when we elect these different persons to lead and guide these departments, we must also elect leadership that can help ensure that these departments are always moving forward in the right way, but they can also deal with the internal issues that we will have as we build this nation moving forward. And again, the usage of our elders simply makes us stronger as a community. We must get away from putting our elders somewhere that places them outside the community. We have hundreds of thousands of black people who are currently retired from doing several things in multiple arenas that can be utilized. As a matter of fact, I am now I'm actively researching some black organizations that deal with retired black professionals, because that's a lot of leadership that has done a lot of things over a course of 10, 20, 30, 40 years that currently isn't being utilized. So you have this pool of black excellence that's just out there, that's no longer plugged into corporate America, that may or may not be plugged into the community, that's just there, retired, doing whatever they're doing, living their life. I am saying we need to touch base with that elder community. We need to touch base with that professional community. We need to touch base with that spiritual understanding and that spiritual community that our community needs to move forward. So one of my goals, one of my hopes is that several of those candidates for the upcoming election will come from that retired community, because, just because they're retired doesn't mean they're dead. Doesn't mean they can't give back. Just because they're retired doesn't mean they still don't want to do something. Just because they're retired doesn't mean that they still don't have a good 10, 20, 30, 40 plus years to do something to help the community move forward. And I am saying that pool that currently exists it could be a treasure trove of talent, understanding, expertise that could help the community move forward. And I have yet to meet a retired professional person of color that does not love to help and give back to the younger generation. Most of them are dying for the opportunity to give back, but all of them don't know where they can give back, or they may not be able to give back in the way that they want to per what they know how to do, or they might have issues with the organizations that are close to where they are. And I am saying we need to not only seek out and identify that talent, that leadership pool, but we need to give them specific areas where they can plug into and help us as a national community move forward. We are talking about a nation. A nation needs everything, from plumbers to carpenters to construction engineers to social scientists to chemists to security people to janitors, teachers. A nation needs everything. So there will not be a retired black person in any area that can't be utilized to help build this nation. And by doing that, by seeking them out and bringing them into the fold, we automatically give ourselves 10, 20, 30 years of expertise that's willing to help us move forward. So as an example, let's say if out of these 10 organizations that I found, I think it's more like 8, I think 8 or 9. Let's say if I only get 25 per organization, that's 200 plus black people, and they're all retired. So chances are they have 30, 40 years of expertise and experience doing whatever they do. That's hundreds of years of experience in multiple areas that we can utilize to help us move forward. And again, not just in a leadership capacity, but as a leadership council. I am saying that the community that we are building has to operate in a fashion that's purposeful, that's methodic, that's systematic, and that's productive. And by having by bringing our elders back into the fold, or if they're already connected to the community, by pulling them into what we're doing, we create a body of black love that the community needs. As we build this thing, there are going to be married people who need counseling, who may or may not be able to afford it or know where to go. The Leadership Council can help with that because they're elders. We will have issues of children having issues with molestation or pedophilia. They need to have a place where they can go and talk to someone. The elder community can help with that. We'll have issues where young brothers may not know about certain aspects of life or how to be a man or whatever. The older brothers in the community who serve on the council can help with that. I am saying our elders, those who have proven themselves to have expertise, knowledge, understanding, love for the community, connectivity to the community, that is a pool of black leadership, black love, black spirituality that we need to move this nation forward. One of the issues we have as it relates to our young people is that they're not connected to the older generation. So they are getting their understanding of what it means to be black in America from social media or Hollywood or television or whatever. And all of that is fictitious. None of that is real because it's based on America's idea of I. The I mindset is killing black people. We can't afford to think like other people because we don't have that kind of power and or luxury to think I. The only way we're going to make it is to think we, because we is where the power is. And by having a younger generation that can be tutored and trained and mentored and developed by an older generation that knows what they're doing, that creates a different black child. So as we seek to build these black Wall Streets around the country, as we seek to make sure that they're all connected, as we seek to make sure that they are on the same page, moving toward the same goal, we must also ensure that the local, regional, and national leadership council of elders will make sure that they are always on the right page, always moving forward in the same fashion, always moving forward toward the same goal. And by having leadership that's developed in that kind of system, by having black people that are developed in that kind of system, by having elders who seek to support that kind of system, we can avoid the current issues that we now see with between Dr. Umar Johnson, Brother Tariq Nasheed, and Dr. Boyce Watkins, because when these issues come up, it can immediately be said by whomever, y'all need to take this to the council and deal with it internally. We must get beyond our first base instinct, which is to react. And even if someone else has verbally attacked you, you don't have to respond in the same fashion. You can take the high road and call the brother on the phone. You can take the high road and seek out an arbitrator, and you guys talk about it on the phone. You guys can set up a one-on-one a conference call, video conference, or whatever, and deal with it in that fashion. And I am saying that we already have a body of black leadership and black love and black understanding and black spirituality that can help with all those issues, which is our elders. And again, we need to get back to the point of not throwing our elders away or getting rid of our elders by putting them in the home, but giving them something to do. As a matter of fact, our elders should not ever pass to the next plane of existence in a home. They should pass in the community, because they are a part of the community. And we need to bring all of our elders back home as quickly as possible so that we can give them something to do, a purpose for living after they've retired in the community. So having our elders who are plugged in, having our elders that we can utilize to ensure that our leadership that's currently in place is managed or controlled, for lack of a better word, or mentored by a more seasoned body of leaders. That simply makes us a better people. So as we continue to talk about not only the importance of a Black Wall Street, because we've addressed that over the past 5 or 6 weeks, maybe 4 or 5 weeks. Not only the importance of that, but specifically, how do we get there, and specifically, how does it function? And right now, in this phase of what we're trying to do, we no longer want to deal with the reasons why having a Black Wall Street is important. You know, we've already dealt with those. All of those are on the website, blackgoldnation.com. They're on Facebook. They're on YouTube. So you can go back and watch those videos. Moving forward, we want to start dealing with the specifics of how do we make that happen. Last week we had our first live candidate interview with a brother who is a candidate for the City Planning and Business Integration Department, Brother Robert Harding. And we may have to redo that because we had some problems with the sound when we try to post it. You can't really, it's not really clear. So we may need to do that again. But as we get more and more candidates for more and more departments, we want to have a live interview where the community can see them, meet them, read their credentials, and ask them questions about their particular department, what they plan to do, how they plan to do it, why they're running, and all that good stuff. And the more we do that, the more people will see that there are Black people around this country doing some very, very, very serious, phenomenal, fantastic things that have said, okay, this is what I do, this is what I can contribute, this is why I want to contribute, these are my credentials, ask me whatever you want to ask me as it relates to what I'm trying to do. So we will create a department. If my goal is to have 6 to 8 candidates per department. So if we have 6 to 8 candidates, the one that wins will have immediately a support base of the other 5 or 6 or 7. That will give that department literally hundreds of years of expertise as it relates to whatever they're doing. So for example, if we have a candidate, 6 to 8 candidates for the Foreign Policy Department, their role, their responsibility is to make sure that whatever is taking place around the world geopolitically, their job will be to assess how that affects the national Black community here in America. We have 6 to 8 candidates. The one that wins gets support from the other 6 or 7, and that gives us hundreds of years of experience because most of them will be nominated by the community, which means they would have already been doing something in that arena for 20, 30, 40 years. So by having a body of experienced candidates whom will work, we hope, to support the leader of that department from the election, then we have hundreds of years of Black excellence in a particular area that will serve to make that department that much better, that much stronger. And that is vitally important because if we have, not only is it important because we have multiple areas of need as it relates to leadership and building this nation moving forward, but what's vitally important about that is that as we work with black youth nationwide to teach them about their history and their culture and what it means to be black in America and how you should behave and your responsibility. As we identify the talents of these children in these different areas, we'll be able to plug them into a department that looks just like them, that is doing what they say they want to do or doing something that they have a strength in. So if we have a child in Cincinnati, Ohio, who we're working with every Saturday via our Saturday youth program, and just this child has a propensity for analyzing data, or is already curious about world matters, or is always plugged into politics on a global level, then that person can be connected to the foreign policy, foreign affairs department, or whatever we call it, and they will have a direct link to people who are already doing, who have experience doing what they have demonstrated they have a desire and a strength to do. So by connecting black youth with black expertise that are doing what these kids have shown they have a strength to do, then we create an automatic pipeline to not just identify, 'cause that's already happened, but foster and develop and support that child's strengths in that particular area. And that's across the board. And not only do we have a chance to plug that black child into a specific department that's doing what he or she has a proven strength in, but we also have 18 different departments that any black child can say, I want to do that. And they will not only say, I want to do that, but they can see how that is being done by a person that looks like them. So we create automatically examples of black excellence, black intellect, black leadership, black excellence, black knowledge, black can-do, black hands-on training, black professionals. We create an image for black children to see nationwide, black people doing these things. So we will have an opportunity to not just say to a black child, you can do whatever. We will be able to say to that black child, you can do whatever. This is how. And this sister's going to show you because she's doing it. So we will have the opportunity to not only plug black children into local black things that they say they want to do or they have a propensity and our strength to do, but we'll be able to plug them into a national department that's doing the same thing, who also will have a role of not just leading the black nation in that particular area or ensuring that black nation is protected in that particular area, but they will also be charged with developing programs by which black children can feed into and be developed in that area. Gang members, in my opinion, most gang members are natural warriors. They have a natural warrior spirit that makes them a natural protector. And most people know that young people join gangs to belong to family, to have a sense of purpose, to be loved, to give back. Unfortunately, the gang, because most of them are their gangs are involved in illegal stuff. The black child gets involved in illegal stuff. They get involved with killing their brother and sister because they wear a different color. But that warrior spirit is still there. I have 3 children. My middle one, Sakina, she has a natural warrior spirit. So if we know our children are born with this natural warrior spirit, but we don't give them an outlet to be the natural warrior that they are, then we are doing them a disservice, because we know what happens to those children when they get caught up in the system of the school to prison pipeline as a warrior, as a gang member. So I am saying, if we know a child is a natural warrior, but we do not create an outlet for that natural warrior spirit to be addressed, to be identified, to be developed, to be honed, then we're doing that child a disservice. And the warrior spirit is born anew in every generation. There are warriors, African warriors everywhere. That is why it's so important that we have multiple departments that can take that warrior spirit in and develop it, that it can be used to protect the black nation. Every single time, black people have developed something for themselves, maybe with the exception of one community that was wiped out for another reason. The rest of them were wiped out by white people. And they're wiped out by white people because white people, in their schizophrenia and their psychopathy, their skewed way of thinking, they say to black people, you can't be in our system because you're black, because you're a nigga, whatever. You can't be with us. But you can't create your own system either. We'll destroy it. Drive black people crazy. So since we know, based on how he has reacted to us since we've been here, since we know what he's going to do, there is going to be an attack, be it cyber, electronic, or physical. If we know that, based on the history of the relationship, then we are being fools if we don't seek to create a defense for that. Knowing our children are natural warriors, they need to be plugged into departments where that warrior spirit can be developed. But more important than that, or just as important as that, is as we develop these different departments, we'll have a chance to ensure that our kids are not only properly educated, but they're being trained to do other things other than be a warrior. Because being a warrior is great, sounds good, but if it's not always a war, what you gonna do with that war spirit? You gotta do something else. So like in the shrine, we had the Holy Order of the Maccabees, which was the protection of the church. But they also did other things in the church. Some of them preached, some of them fixed stuff, some of them were engineers, some of them were software engineers. They did other things. Worked in the daycare. They did other things. So I am saying that warrior spirit is born anew in every generation. We need to develop it, nurture it, love it, and help it to grow and be what it already is. But we'll also need to make sure that warrior spirit has something else to do when they are not doing their warrior thing. And by having these different departments that are led by black people who know what they're doing, who have experience doing what they're doing, they can bring these black children in to the fold of what we have created so that they can be developed to do other things aside from protecting the black nation. And I'm saying having a committed, proven group of elders that have been through it, that have been doing it, that have proven themselves worthy of leadership, we ask them to serve on the leadership council. Most of them would probably say yes. And again, we create for ourselves an automatic body of leadership that has already proven itself to love and care for black people. So having a leadership council made up of elders is simply a win-win for the community moving forward. We're saying that in order to have a future worth living in this country, we got to have our own stuff. We've tried everything else. We vote, we march, we boycott, we sit in, we've done all that. And I'm not saying don't continue to do that. I would never tell a black person how to address his or her rage, anger, pain, or whatever. I'm saying while you are doing that, you should also be building something for yourself. So if that doesn't work, again, you can still go home and have a physically safe space to live and be. We are never going to be able to have that physical safe space if we don't build it. No one is coming to the rescue for black people. We have to build and do our own thing. And we will never be able to do our own thing if we don't have leadership in multiple areas that's on the same page. We're not concerned with your political affiliation as long as what you do is serving the black nation to help us move forward. We're not concerned with your sexual orientation as long as what you do is in the particular area is going to help move the nation forward. We're not concerned with where you went to school. We're not concerned with if you were in the military. We're not concerned with things that don't affect the survival and advancement of black people. If you have an expertise in agribusiness, we want you to be in the nation. You have an expertise in engineering, we want you to be in the nation. You have an expertise raising children, we want you to be in the nation to help the nation move forward. And we're saying that once we get the leadership body in place and they start doing things to show the larger black nation, this is how you do this thing in this area, then we'll all be moving forward on the same at the same time in multiple areas to reach the same goal, which is ultimately these black Wall Streets that are connected, and I don't mean black Wall Streets that are connected around the country. I'm also talking about cities and towns that we either build ourselves or we purchase so that we can own and control them as well, so that we can get away from America's inner cities and take a break from that madness. So we're not going to be able to immediately have communities that we can build, buy out, own, and control, and that's going to take some time. But we can most certainly have these physical safe havens where we can take a retreat from the city, get ourselves together, get our spirits in line, meet other black people, fellowship with our brothers and sisters, and then we can go back into the battle, if you will. And I'm saying to do all of that takes committed black people, takes committed individual black people, takes a leadership body that's on the same page, and it takes a leadership council that's going to serve to make sure that leadership is always moving forward toward the ultimate goal of creating a nation within a nation for black people. So as I have said multiple times before, as I will always say, I have been a proud member of the Shrines of Black Madonna for 20 plus years. I am trying to take the best of the best as I see it that the Shrine has to offer black people and introduce that to the larger black nation. And one of those things that I believe the Shrine got right, because we got a lot of things right, one of those things I think we got right is developing black leadership for the black community and developing a leadership council that served to always make sure the black nation is moving forward and to make sure that certain problems that develop in the nation are adequately dealt with, so that we don't have an embarrassing situation like the one that's currently going on between Dr. Umar Johnson, Brother Tariq Nasheed, and Dr. Boyce Watkins. That is simply embarrassing. If they were my children, I'd give them all a piece of my mind, because they should have been raised better than that. But we have to get beyond the petty arguments and petty fights that we have with one another. I posted a video on our Facebook page of Dr. Jahi Issa making a very, 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 very good video of the ridiculousness of what's going on between these brothers. And Dr. Issa goes on to state of what a real beef is. Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un of North Korea, Dr. Cornel West and Brother Ta-Nehisi Coates. He mentioned something else that was a real beef as it relates to the Republican tax plan and how that's going to affect black and poor people. That is a real beef, something that we need to be paying attention to, because it's going to affect black people. What's happening with Dr. Umar Johnson and Tariq Nasheed is just embarrassing. It's immature, it's embarrassing, it's unnecessary. It makes all of us look bad. And it makes those brothers look bad. And if you know anything about these brothers, all of them are talented. All of them are highly intelligent, gifted, have all given back, are still giving back, but they're allowing this petty squabble to hurt their personal brands, which of course hurts the black nation as well. So in closing, I'm going to say again, my name is Brother Tamani. I'm the author of the new book, Black Gold Devalued. I'm a contributing member to the Black Gold movement. This is the Black Gold Solutions live stream. Thank you for making it. If we don't already have your email address, please send it. Make sure you like our pages on YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope. We should be on Twitter pretty soon, where we can do our live streams on Twitter as well. And if you haven't already seen the videos, please go to the website, blackgoldnation.com, and check those out. And share what we're doing with other like-minded black people. There is a lot to be done, and I am so behind on everything that I need as much help as I can get. So if you have time, if you have the commitment, if you have the understanding, and you want to be a part, and you only have 5 minutes a week, then let me know. Email me, and I will give you something to do within those 5 minutes. That's going to help us move forward. So let me thank those. Where is that? Thank those that have made it. Thank you, Brother Roderick. Sister April Hunter, she's posting a bunch of stuff. She is my number one. And as they say, behind every great black man, there's a greater black woman. Not that I'm great, but she absolutely is. So I say next to my wife, she's awesome and fantastic. So Sister April Hunter is my number one. Funi Karima, Sister Namyanka, Brother Siddiqui. Bishop Abanesta, thank all of you guys for making the live stream. I sincerely appreciate it. And for those of you who don't know, or those of you who are watching this stream after it's already been posted, after we've already gone live, Sister Abanesta, Brother Siddiqui, Sister Nanyamka, Fundi Karima, they helped me to be the brother that I am. Not that I'm all that as it relates to being a brother, but they really helped me to understand what it means to be black in America. They were a part of that community in the shrine that helped me to be a better brother, to build something moving forward for black people. So it looks like we're having some issues with Facebook, so I apologize for that. But anyway, thank you guys for making the live stream. Again, if we don't have your email, just please send it. Like us on all of our social media platforms. Make sure you subscribe to the channels so we can keep you posted and plugged in. And lastly, we have a major fundraiser going on right now to get two of our members to South Carolina so that we can move on some land to start manufacturing some products in some industries that currently have no leader, like hemp and medical marijuana and organic algae and things of that nature. So go to the website, blackgoldnation.com, click on the donate now button at the top of the page or in the main menu, and see what we're working on so that you can contribute to that. So thank you guys very much. God bless you. We will have another live stream on Thursday, and we'll continue moving forward. So as I close, I'd like to say two things. One from my mentor, Sister Ada Edwards, who had her own radio show here in the Greater Houston area. She would say at the end of every broadcast, not everyone can do everything, but if everyone does something, everything will get done. And also, as we would say in the Shrines of the Black Madonna, nothing's more sacred than the liberation and salvation of black people. So thank you very much. God bless you, and we will see you guys on Thursday. Amen. Have a good day. There we go.